A very common misconception when it comes to lower body workouts is the requirement of weights and a lot of resistance to build true strength. When in fact, I would go so far as to say when it comes to versatility, accessibility, and the ability to build true strength and athleticism, calisthenics exercises are far superior. And if we keep the single most important factor in mind when it comes to building muscle, which is mechanical tension, you will quickly realize that you can put your legs under a lot of stress, not just when it comes to strength, but also flexibility and coordination without using so much as a single weight. And ever since I shifted from focusing only on weighted exercises for legs and started moving to more bodyweight focused ones, my agility and my strength increased drastically. And like last month, when I didn't have access to a gym, doing something as simple as a set of 250 squats had my legs looking like this. So today, we're gonna check out some of the most amazing lower body calisthenics exercises so you can start working on true lower body power. So if you're ready, let's go and have some fun. Now let us quickly get the basics out of the way first. The classic bodyweight squat will be your foundation for building lower body mobility and strength as you start progressing to the more advanced exercises and being able to squat all the way down with feet flat and an upper body fully upright, as well as working your way up to, at the very least, 50 to 60 repetitions within a single set of nice, controlled, full range of motion squats will help you immensely in achieving lower body power, flexibility, coordination, and help you reach an amazing level of mobility that is going to help you over time as you progress in age and as our range of motion starts decreasing due to a lack of full range of motion movement patterns. If you require a guide on how to achieve this full range of motion, you can check out this video where we go through it step by step. Now, while mechanical tension is the main factor when it comes to building muscle, and there is still a constant ongoing debate when it comes to stretch-mediated hypertrophy, which is basically just muscle growth that is preferentially stimulated when a muscle produces high mechanical tension in a very lengthened position. So knowing how to put mechanical tension and the stretch together within a single movement can help you immensely in achieving even more hypertrophy as you're training. And one of the muscles that has one of the best responses when it comes to stretch-mediated hypertrophy is your quadriceps, specifically your rectus femoris, which is responsible for two insanely important functions, which is the flexion of the hip as well as the extension of your leg. And one of the best exercises that puts your legs into this stressed position is the sissy squat, helping us combine what is essentially a full anterior chain stretch while building massive amounts of strength when it comes to our quadriceps, requiring basic engagement from our entire body. And doing even assisted sissy squats can be immensely beneficial in working on your full body control while increasing stretchability and strength. Adding full ankle, knee and hip mobility, you can start out with controlled, assisted short ranges of motion and work your way up to being able to lay down basically all the way and reverse out of this position with maximum engagement of your quadriceps. This video is sponsored by the YouTube GOAT, which is you. This platform only works because of you, and I only make those videos because of you, so leave a like, maybe subscribe. I will use the ad money to buy cat food because the cats have been leaving some scary messages in front of my bed and I do not want the situation to escalate. Now, one of the most important indicators of lower body power output as well as quality of life as we grow older is healthy hip function and hip mobility. And one of the simplest exercises that can help you work on that in an amazing fashion is the classic step up. Not only because it is one of the simplest yet most effective exercises for working on your glutes as well as your quads in a full range of motion, but it's very easily scalable because all you need to do when it comes to advancing is simply increase the height of your step, which of course increases your range of motion, increases the stretch, and therefore increases the engagement required for going through a full movement pattern. Not to mention that it is one of the best exercises when it comes to building unilateral strength and control, which requires a lot more balance, a lot more engagement from all of those small muscles surrounding our foot as well as our ankle, which will help us immensely with stability, not just as we're aging, but also with all kinds of athletic feats as well as our day-to-day life, where balance can be something a lot of people neglect and can lead to a lot of injury if we do not work on it regularly. And while we are on the subject of unilateral exercises, as well as including a lot of balance through stabilization and core engagement, as well as the importance of training your glutes when it comes to healthy hip function, one of the best exercises you can do, and a very simple one, is the glute bridge. as you get stronger in working with both of your legs, over time you will have the capability of working with a single one. And this exercise is not just effective when it comes to building glute strength, but it basically engages our entire posterior chain in our lower body, starting at our calves, working on our foot musculature as well, our biceps femoris, of course, our glutes, and even our spinal erectors, which are important for going into this complete spinal extension. And of course, we have the benefit of an anterior chain stretch, once again, especially when it comes to our hip flexors, if we are really tight in that region, which leads to all kinds of problems. And once again, it's scalability being as simple as elevating your foot, which you are working through, so you can go through an even longer range of motion, add even more engagement, and make the exercise even harder, especially when it comes to that core engagement and staying balanced until you go through the entire movement. And of course, if you want to advance to the next level of unilateral exercises, we have to talk about the pistol squat, which now takes away all the safety of working with both legs, while requiring even more stabilization, even more core engagement, and even more control, not just over your lower body, though that is the main focus of our hypertrophy work, but also from our upper body. It combines a lot of posterior chain flexibility to be able to keep that leg extended and from touching the ground while you're going through this movement. It will challenge your balance, which is going to strengthen your legs even more. It takes your hips, your knees, and your ankles through a full range of motion, and it strengthens basically every single muscle fiber in your lower body. And while you can start working on the pistol squat with a simple short range of motion and work your way lower and lower, as well as working with assistance, so you can take out some of the balancing requirements as you progress through your full range of motion and as you start working on your ankle, knee and hip mobility, as well as your posterior chain flexibility and the strength required for going through the entire movement. The true goal should be, when it comes to pistol squats, your ability to start from a seated position with both legs extended, so you can activate as much hip flexor and core strength and as much posterior chain flexibility and full body control as possible with this single exercise, which makes it a lot harder, but also a lot more beneficial for your lower body power, for your flexibility, coordination, and mobility in general. And before we get to the exercise, which is probably the creme de la creme when it comes to lower body athleticism as well as power output, we have to talk about an insanely important exercise that sadly doesn't get enough appreciation, and that is the 90-90 switch. An amazing exercise when it comes to not just working on your flexibility, especially surrounding your hip joints, your knees and ankles, but also strengthening all of those muscles and working on true joint health, which is one of the things that can make or break your progress as you advance to the more complicated stuff. And training not just hip flexion and extension, but very importantly, hip rotation, both external as well as internal, will make a world's difference in your lower body strength output, especially when it comes to more athletic movements and the utilization of your body in sports instead of just isolation work. It works a lot on strength, coordination, control, and flexibility. Its variations are myriad, especially once you get into the flow. And I could basically dedicate an entire video to this exercise if I didn't already do that. So if you want to learn this step by step and check out all the benefits as well as the variations to it, you can watch this video. Now, when it comes to muscle power output, we're not gonna get around of working through fast twitch movement patterns. Even more so if you wanna focus more on hypertrophy and adding a lot of size to your legs, if that is something you're looking for. And one of the exercises that does that best, builds insane amounts of power, real athleticism and mobility, is the box jump. Once again, an exercise that is very easily scalable because you can start working on very short and tiny jumps and progress to very high jump. Not to mention that next to all the quantifiable benefits of jumping exercises, one of the benefits that gets neglected when it comes to that is having fun. The box jump is one of the most fun exercises you can do, and over time can be a true testament of your capabilities when it comes to controlling your entire body. With one of the most important things to add when it comes to the box jump being that you shouldn't just work on doing it with both legs, even though that will help you build a foundation. Adding one-sided jumps will help you immensely when it comes to maximizing the benefits from this exercise, as well as adding a little bit of complexity, not just a single jump or a forward jump, also a staggered upwards as well as sideways and downwards jump. So you can add as much control benefits as possible by increasing the height, not just for the one-sided, of course, but also the double-sided jumps, till you are satisfied with your jumping capabilities. Not to mention that we are working immensely on our cardiovascular system, because those fast twitch, explosive exercises do require a lot of cardiovascular strength. And there you go, this handful of bodyweight exercises can help you cover basically your entire lower body needs when it comes to working on athleticism, power, strength, mobility, and building an amazing foundation for your body as you grow older. So instead of losing capabilities as you progress in age, you can use those as a foundation to become even stronger and even more athletic. Sadly, that's all the time I've left for you today. We do stuff like that so regularly, which means that I'll probably see you very soon. So until then, have a good one. Captain Cairo. Peace out.